Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. I'm standing by my raspberry bushes here that I am going to be transplanting today. There's a couple different reasons we're going to be doing this. Actually, I'm going to be doing three things today. I'm going to be transplanting these to clear this space for vegetable garden. I'm going to be canning them, and I'm going to be putting my raspberries in a place that I have more room and they're not going to disrupt things. So anyway, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with raspberries. They taste amazing. Okay, and they grow really well around here, but one of the things that I don't like is how quickly they spread out. And so we are clearing these out today to create room for a vegetable garden. But unlike my blueberry bushes, which you can see up here, I actually can hardly see them behind the raspberry bushes, but the blueberry bushes, you know, they just grow in one spot. You prune them every year. Great blueberry bushes. Keep the weeds down around them, and it's all controlled. Raspberry bushes, they just want to spread everywhere. And so we are going to remove them from the spot they are here today. So you can see up above this cement wall, this retaining wall that we created for raised bed on this, we're terracing this hillside. We're going to get rid of all the raspberries here and all the raspberries here. This area that I built the retaining walls has been a great vegetable garden for us. The last couple of years gets lots of sunlight, and the walls, you step on the pad there, the walls work so it's a raised garden bed and we're not bending over weeding it. My wife is just loving this. So she wants both sides to be vegetables this year. We'll probably leave one row of ever-bearing strawberries there. These are June-bearing strawberries. There's probably going to go too. And the raspberries on this shelf and this shelf are going to go. And they're starting to invade into the blueberry area, so we need to get them all out of here. So way off in the distance over there, between the barn and the pool, is where the raspberries are. Now we're adding blueberry rows here, and then we're going to go raspberries along the fence line here. And they'll get watered plenty when our lawn gets watered. And if they try to spread and go on that side of the fence, the goats are going to eat them, and I'll just mow them down on this side, and they can spread through all the soil that we have here for them. We killed all our raspberries in the process of building these terrace gardens, so I went and started a new crop with a friend of mine a year or two ago. And when I transplanted from them, I dug very carefully and tried to keep a lot of soil around the roots, because if you want to have raspberries immediately, you know, the more intact you keep the roots, the better. But I found that these things are so vigorous growing, and the root system is so vigorous that if I just stick a shovel in and lift it up, and then I'm going to shake the soil out, because our ground is naturally heavy clay soil, and we've been amending the garden area to try to get good soil. So we're going to try to shake out the roots and get the dirt out, and then leave the good soil here. There's some good soil up there. But what you're going to see me doing is a little bit rougher than most people would recommend doing by the book on transplanting raspberries. Also, when you transplant raspberries, most people recommend that you cut them off. Just find a bud or two. Well, there's one here and one here, and leave those two. And then the root system can supply plenty of nutrients and water for that. And so this one's going to be done that way. But I have found I'm going to leave much longer, more buds that'll actually have some fruiting buds and get berries, because I want berries this year. And these things are pretty hardy, and they're going to come back. So as I said, I'm going to be a little rougher today than the book would recommend.
Shoot, okay.
Okay, we've got the whole garden space cleared that we want for vegetables. We've left some good soil in here that's really nice. As I mentioned, normally this time of year you're caning, which is taking out last year's canes that produce fruit. So this one, they're usually a little bit more brittle. They snap a little bit tighter. It's been so wet that they aren't snapping, but and this one's more white as opposed to brownish color. So I'm going to take off some of these. Here's two more old canes from last year, so they need to go completely. And then we have these that will produce fruit this year. Again, traditionally, you would cut these down to less than 18 inches, plant this, and it'll grow really good. But as I mentioned before, I am greedy, and I believe that these are vigorous growing enough, and the roots will spread out, that I'm going to leave several of our raspberries in, and I'm going to leave full canes, or at least 2/3, so that we have berries this summer as well. One more thing, all the canes are gone, or appear to be gone, but because of the way this root system spreads, there's raspberry roots in this garden. And so even though we're going to till this before we plant our vegetable garden, there is going to be a lot of raspberries that try to sprout up. You can see root fibers in here that are laying around, and like I said, these are pretty vigorous. They're going to grow, but if we get most of it out when we till, there will be sprouts coming, but we'll be able to pluck them out when they're small and not let them get established. And by the end of this year, we won't have to deal with too many more. Here's one of our stacks of canes. There's some more up there. Starting to clear this garden bed. Those strawberries, like I said, will be gone this year. And then this whole bed will be vegetables. Hot Mama will be happy. Got that on my bare skin. All right, there's a couple raspberries in the ground already there with sawdust on it. We're gonna go up to about where we have the landscape fabric. These are going to be blueberry bushes that we're propagating, and this will be raspberries. Here we go. Here's a big cluster, one of the larger ones that we cut out. We got damaged branches here. We'll take that out. This is old cane. You can see the really white old cane. That's going out. There's some more old ones right here, right here. My hands are on another really old one we want to get rid of. And most of the rest of this is new fresh cane, and I'm going to, like I said, most people would say trim this down. I'm saying if I lay this root ball across here, keep it watered and fertilized, it'll produce raspberries, plenty of them this year. All right, we'll get ourselves a hole. These are not deep rooted plants, so I don't have to go too terribly deep, plus I want to mound up a little bit. Get rid of a couple canes. Oh, I damaged that one, so it's going to go. You know, a lot of people will tell you how far apart to put these in certain rows and whatnot, but again, I'm just going to try to get these over a foot apart, and I'm not going to worry about straight rows because within a year they're not going to be straight rows. There's going to be canes coming up here, over here, trying to come up in the lawn. So I just going to get them spread out so that they have enough. I have this long root that we want nutrition from, so I'm going to just dig out some soil here, lay that down in there, and keep that spread from the plant and get it covered up. What is it, March today? So what, 4 months? Raspberries, 5 months, something like that. All right, you can see my new row of raspberries. You probably can't see it all on the camera right now. And as I mentioned, these are much taller than is normally recommended when you transplant. Some of these I left a lot of canes, so this one has multiple. And I might want to still leave some long, but maybe make it so there's less. Take this one out and take another one out. So now I still have the higher canes where it's going to fruit, but there's not the demand on the roots if there is all those canes. Kaylin's been stacking these for me over here that has some decent roots, but we didn't have room to put them in that spot. I'm going to take these to the school and try to put them in our horticulture garden there. Because this is Saturday and it's not going to be till Monday I get them in the ground, I am going to shorten these to that 12 to 18 inches. And then a good way to keep these moist is if you have some fine fir bark and you just put these in a bucket and put the fir bark over it and put water on it, they'll stay plenty moist. I'm just going to put these in a bag. I don't have bark here today, and I think with the weather and the humidity the way it's been, they're going to be moist enough come Monday morning. Leave a couple buds and cut it off. This used feed bag will be great to take the raspberries to the school in. I'll just put these in here. It'll keep the moisture in, and if I need to keep these in a shady spot, so if there is direct sunlight, which this time of year there's not much around here, but if there is direct sunlight it won't heat it up. So keep it in the shade, keep it moist, get it in the garden at the school as soon as possible. Mission accomplished. More space for my vegetables here, raspberries growing over there, and I will be starting raspberries at the garden at the school. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects like this garden are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone.